Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be answering a question from a viewer. She actually wrote me a rather long email basically describing her current situation. She talked about being at the annoying plateau stage where you're still fighting a battle but you're at a stalemate, and she spoke about stress at school, coming under a lot of scrutiny for absences around exam time, and just talking about that when her stress levels go up, her eating disorder gets worse. And I think that's something that many people can relate to, where stress creates a lot of problems with an eating disorder, even in recovery. So I wanted to make a video to respond to some things that she had asked me about. Some of the things she was asking about were feeling very bad that everyone is doing so well around her and she doesn't feel like she's even able to keep it together. She doesn't like being the helpless one. She doesn't like feeling like a helpless person in her circle of friends and family. And she talked about being jealous of friends. Her friends have jobs, they're passing their driving tests, they're experimenting with dating. Things that she described as feeling foreign to her because she can't even imagine doing those things. And it's has a lot to do with comparisons, but also she is talking about how it's her first real experience, as she calls it, of being cut off from the normal lives of her friends, and she's really envying them for it. So in this video I want to talk about how to deal with struggles like this, what to do when you feel divided from the people in your life and cut off from normal teenage life. Obviously, you can hopefully apply a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about to normal adult life as well as normal teenage life, but I am going to tailor this video to high school students, just because that was the age of this viewer and she was asking me for her own personal gain, which I think is wonderful. She asked me a couple questions in regards to this. How can you deal with this sort of situation? Do you try to take on more? Do you assure yourself it will all fall into place? It'll just take time? Do you open up more about the eating disorder to people? All those questions can have different answers depending on who it is you're asking for advice. And my stance on situations like this are that things are going to take time, especially things like this where not only are you dealing with all the stresses of school and all of the things that go along with being a quote-unquote normal teenager, but you're also dealing with recovery from an eating disorder. So your life may never be exactly like the lives of your friends, and learning to accept that is going to be part of the process, and it can be a very positive sort of reflection and acceptance. So don't automatically think that you have to settle for a life that, because it's less than normal, is somehow fraught with misery. I did do a couple of videos in the past that I think may be helpful here. One of them was about loneliness and getting through that feeling. And while this viewer doesn't use the word loneliness, she is experiencing, in my opinion, a form of loneliness simply because she feels isolated from the other people in her life due to envy or due to her own experiences being so different from theirs, and because she relies on her eating disorder in times of stress. So I do want to post that. I also did a video called Comparing Yourself to Others, and that obviously relates here. While people with eating disorders tend to compare themselves to others in terms of size and beauty and things like that, accomplishments, all sorts of things like that, there really is a piece here that has to do with comparisons as far as life experiences and things that are going on, and especially in teenage years. I mean, comparisons happen almost without us realizing that we're making them. And I think almost everyone in life is guilty of that at some point or another. I know that when I was a teenager, I mean, you almost can't help but compare yourself to your friends because you are learning by example, you are watching other people, as this viewer sounds like she's admiring her friends for what they are doing and accomplishing, but at the same time, it sort of turns that reflection onto the self, and sometimes that can be hard. So I think the video about comparing yourself to others can be very helpful because in it, I'm talking about negative thoughts and how we focus on the wrong things. I also, quite some time ago, did a two-part video about eating disorders and friendships, and I talked about many things in that two-part video, but mainly I talk about losing friends and how to talk to friends about having an eating disorder, and things that I think really can apply to trying to live as normal a life as you can. I also did a video back in 2009 about addressing trust in friendships, which can apply here. And then just a few weeks ago, I did a video called Recovery as a Process, and that relates in many obvious ways. So that is a lot of information, and those are a lot of recommendations to other videos that I have done in the past. But I do want to refer you to those videos simply because that's going to be so many minutes for you to watch either in parts or all at once that can really delve into all different aspects of what this question really is asking. One of the things I want to talk about is this viewer asked, do you try to take on more? Meaning these friends of hers are doing all these things different than the things that she is doing, and she feels like she's not really acting up to par with her normal teenage years, if she's not doing what they're doing. So this, do you try to take on more? Well, if you want to push yourself to challenge yourself to do things that you think will benefit you, then sure, you can try to take on more. But if the reason that you're asking if you should take on more is simply to match what your friends are doing, it's really not a good enough reason. So you really want to ask yourself why you want to take on more. Is it because of this comparison that's going on? Is it because you feel that you should be at a certain level and you're not there? Or is it because you really want to do something and you need a little push to try to accomplish it for yourself? Figure out who you're doing these things for, who you want to do them for. Do you want to do them for you, or do you want to do them for other people? If you want to do them for yourself, then you can try to take on more, of course. If you want to do them for other people, then maybe you need to reevaluate. She also asks if opening up more about the eating disorder to people could be helpful, and I think that it can be very helpful. It was for me, but again, that's going to be a personal preference. If there are people in your life that you really trust, being open and honest with them can be very important, and it can be it can really provide greater support than what you currently have. You'll have to excuse my cats, which are acting extremely crazy behind me. I apologize. And it's something that I think at some point everyone needs to do, to bring at least someone into the world of the eating disorder so that you can get that piece of understanding. Having a therapist and everything is great, but they are a lot more objective. They are on the periphery of your life. They are not necessarily part of your life and your daily happenings. So allowing someone to come into your head, so to speak, whether it's a friend or a family member or more than one friend or more than one family member, I think it can be extremely helpful. Now, that's my personal opinion, and we all have different friends and different family, and we all have different preferences in our life, but I do think, especially as a teenager, that getting support from every possible avenue is key, because the more people that you have behind you, the better off you're going to be. And as hard as it can be to be more open and honest about your eating disorder with people, I think the end result that you're looking for is always very positive most of the time. So this is a short one, mostly because I referred you to a bunch of other videos, but I do hope that you'll check those out because they say all that I want to say on the topic without me having to repeat myself and wonder if I've forgotten anything, and I do hope that you found this helpful in some way.